So it's 2025 and you want to learn how to resell. And one of the hardest things about learning how to resell is learning what actually resells online. A lot of us go to thrift stores and retail stores and we are overwhelmed with everything that we see in those stores, especially thrift stores. They are loaded with really, really bad brands. But when you first start out, you go to those racks and you see a brand new tag item or a pre-owned brand that you've seen before and you just assume that it has value. And I had an idea to make these short videos going over 5 specific clothing items within a niche inside of the clothing category. My goal with these videos is to make short, compressed videos so that way when you're out there thrifting, you will actually remember these brands, because there are tons of BOLO videos out there, but usually they're quite long. And to be honest, I've watched them before, and by the time I'm halfway through, I've already forgotten most of the brands that were said in the videos. So since it's winter, I figured we'd start with 5 jacket brands that you should be on the lookout for next time you're out thrifting. These 5 specific brands have a really good sell-through rate, and they'll sell for over $50 if you find them in pre-owned condition at the thrift store. So if you're ready, let's head inside and get into it. Here we are at the computer. Do me a favor, as you guys are watching this video, if you learn any new brands during this video, if you could drop a like on this video and comment below what brand was a new brand to you. Let's get into it. Starting off strong with a brand you probably have never heard before, because looking up these brands, I have never heard of this one myself, never found it, but you should definitely be on the lookout for it. And that's Johnson Woolen Mills. Now I'm going to scroll through these listed comps to kind of show you exactly what these things are listed for. And of course, when you're looking up brands, make sure you're looking up solds, because people can list things for outrageous prices, but they never sell for those outrageous prices. But this specific brand does sell, and I'm going to show you that just in a second. So as you can see, lots of reds, lots of greens with this color, with this exact brand. These buffalo plaids usually always sell really well in all kinds of brands. So seeing that this has buffalo plaid basically on almost all of these listings shows you that this is probably a good brand to look up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to see how many in pre-owned condition we currently have listed, and that's 187. We're going to scroll down to sold, and then we're going to see exactly how many sold in pre-owned condition. And you can do this on a phone. You do not need to do this on the computer. This one specifically has 243 sold. So that's over 100% sell-through rate. What we're going to do is we're going to scroll through these really quick, and you're going to see the prices on these. When I saw this on eBay sold, I was like, man, how have I never found this brand before? I'm sure this is one that you could probably find in the thrift store for $5 or $10, because the thrift store doesn't know what they have. Look it up and you're going to be just as surprised as I am. As you can see, some of these comps go all the way up to $150, and there's ones lower for $45. When you see something like this, when it has a great sell-through rate and somebody's selling it for $45, this thing probably got eaten up, because this person didn't know what they had, and they're not pricing against what others are selling for. It's probably somebody just selling out of their own closet, because as you can see, $100 sales over and over again with this brand. I did pick out 2 sold comps to go over really quick, kind of giving you a close-up view of the brand. As you can see, nice buffalo plaid design to this one, front and back. This one doesn't have any flaws in it. There's the tag you're looking for. The Johnson is right in the center, and then it has a size tag underneath. With all of these, I don't think it has a letter size. I think they're all number sizes. This one specific is a 40. We're going to scroll through really quick and see just how nice this jacket is. That photo's a little blurry right there. This person also put in their measurements in listing, which is great. This is what I suggest doing when you're listing on eBay, is always putting your measurements. But as you can see, flawless jacket, great condition, vintage, perfect. So let's head over to one that sold for 175. And this is why I think the other person might have underpriced theirs, because this one looks really similar, except it's a green colorway. Maybe the green one's more rare. I'm not really too sure on this brand, because I've researched it very little before I made this video. But here we go. Almost the same exact tag, maybe a little bit of an older style on this tag. They have their measurements, but look at this. It sold for 175, and this jacket has flaws. It has obviously look like a bleach stain right there. It looks like it's missing a button. It has more staining right there, and I believe it has a rip in it as well. And even with all of those flaws, this jacket still sold for $175. So when you're out there sourcing, make sure you're looking for Johnson Woolen Mills. Look out for that tag, because if you find it, you found a gem. Now let's get on to jacket number 2. So jacket brand number 2 is one that some of you might already be familiar with, because this one you'll find more commonly in thrift stores. Not all the time. I think last year I found it a total of like 5 or 6 times. Basically any piece in this, especially in men's, is always going to be a pickup. Even with flaws, this specific brand will sell. So the brand is Icebreaker. As I did with the last one, I'll scroll through these really quick, the listed. And then as we get down to pre-owned, I'll show you exactly how many are listed in pre-owned condition, and men's specifically. This brand also sells women's as well, but we're going to look into men's because men's actually has a little bit better of a sell-through rate. So there's 256 currently listed on eBay. And if we go down to sold down here, we can see that there are currently 267 sold in men's. Now, there are different styles to this brand. As you can see from some of these sold comps, ones are selling for 129, and then other ones are selling for 35, some in the middle around 56. Obviously, ones with flaws are going to sell for a little bit less, but this brand with that sell-through rate, it's basically a pickup almost every single time you find it. Sometimes I even pay up for this brand, specifically because I know how well it's going to sell, how fast it's going to sell. Let's head over to one that sold for $69.99. This brand is mostly made of merino wool. Now, sometimes they're not 100% merino wool, and sometimes they are. The merino wool ones, I find that 100% usually sell a little faster and a little bit better. This one right here is like a merino wool, kind of like spandexy looking jacket. As we scroll through it right here, you can see it's got that nice interior, nice like quilted interior. Here is the tag. Now, this tag isn't shown very well. I'm going to show it on the other one, but right here it says Icebreaker Merino. That means it's merino wool, and then there is the tag right there. This is the logo you're going to look for on most of the pieces as well. It's just like a circle with a B in the center. But as you can tell, this person took really great photos. And again, even with a flaw, this sold for $69.99. It's really, really hard because these are made out of wool to find ones that are in pristine condition, because with wool, they get little snags like that. But even with the snags, they're still selling for $70. So we'll head over to another one that sold right here. This one sold for $129. We'll just scroll through really quick. Obviously, this one has a hood. It's a full zip. It's quilted. It looks to be more of a heavier jacket. Obviously, if you get into the heavier jackets as opposed to lightweight sweaters, the heavier jackets usually will sell for more money. Let me see if they have a close-up of that interior tag, or they have, oh, there we go. There is the Icebreaker logo right there. That's the one you're looking for. Not every piece is going to have that logo, especially the sweater. Sometimes they don't. You're just going to have to look for the interior tag, but Icebreaker, really, really great brand to look for. It's not one, it looks very inconspicuous when you're out there thrifting. Doesn't look like anything crazy when you see this tag right here. But trust me, you're going to want to pick it up because these things fly off the shelves. Now let's get into brand number 3. So jacket brand number 3 is one that has been eluding me in the thrift stores. I have never found this brand, but this brand not only sells jackets, they sell shorts, they sell long sleeves, basically anything, both men's and women's, will sell in this brand, and that brand is Tracksmith. So let's scroll through some of the ones that are listed right now, and you'll kind of see the prices that people are asking for these, usually a little over $50, and then in some cases well over $100 depending on the piece. In pre-owned condition right now, there is currently 102 listed, both men's and women's. As we go to sold, we can see that there's 84 sold, which means there is about 100% sell through rate, somewhere around 80%. As you can see, it's not pulling up all Tracksmith brands. It's pulling up some Adidas in here because it says tracksuit in it. So the sell-through rate is a little closer to 100%, but obviously it's filtering in some other brands as well. So as you can see, we're going to scroll through these. You're going to see most of the sold comps are $50 or more. Again, $175 for this brand, $250 for this brand. Another one sold for $150. So it is definitely one you need to be on the lookout for. Again, both men's and women's. Let's head over to a women's one that sold. This listing is terrible, and this thing still sold for $90. Look at this, no keywords in there. It just shows the actual Tracksmith, and then the actual style name of this jacket is the Nor'easter, which I guess is okay, but there's no other keywords in this thing. It's still sold for $90. Even the photos is just thrown on the ground, taking a full front and back and taking a tag photo, no measurements or anything like that. Sold for $90. Now this one, I'm not going to be able to show you the logo up close. I'll be able to show you on the next listing, but in the bottom right hand corner on the sleeve, you can see that little bunny logo. That's the one you're looking for. And of course, the Tracksmith logo will both be on the front of the jacket and on that tag in the back. And then here's a men's sold comp right here. Much better listing on this one. Full front, full back, and here is that bunny logo I'm talking about right there. It's a gold bunny. Again, if you find it on anything, it's usually always a pickup. Just make sure you look up sold comps, but trust me, it's a great brand. Almost anything sells. This listing is, again, much more put together. You have all your measurements in this listing. There's another one of those little bunny logos that you're looking for that's on an interior tag. But again, really great. And this thing sold for $78 in pre-owned condition. So another brand that thrift stores aren't really onto yet that you can find for $5 to $10 and be able to flip really quick for over 50 bucks. Now let's get on to brand number 4. So brand number 4 is a brand that I've only found a handful of times. I think only once or twice I've ever found this brand in thrift stores, and that is Dragonware. Now, Dragonware is made to be flame resistant, and that's why it sells for so much money, because of all the materials put into this and how quality made these things are. So as you can see from the listeds, they have anywhere between 50 all the way up to 200 bucks. There's currently in pre-owned condition only 12 listed, and then if we go to solds, as you can see, there is 25 solds. Anywhere from 120. We have one here for 60, one for 140. Just really, really good solds on these. Now, because there is so little listed and so little sold, it's going to be a brand you don't find too often in thrift stores. But anytime you find it, you're going to pick it up, even if it's priced up. I've paid up for these pieces and made really good money on them. I think it's one of my old shorts. I found one for like 80 bucks and I ended up selling for like 150 or 200 bucks within just a few weeks. So definitely be on the lookout for this brand. We're going to go into a women's listing right here. They make both women's and men's. So either way, be on the lookout for it no matter what area of the thrift store you're searching in. As you can see, this listing is a really good one, just taken on the ground right there, but you don't need any fancy setup to get your items to sell. This one sold for $120. This one is specifically the dragon fur style. There's all kinds of different styles. There's all kinds of different flame resistant categories within this brand. So depending on what piece you have, that will really depend on how much it'll sell for. As you can see, really quality put together listing right here. These are also made in the USA, not vintage. They are just made in the USA, this specific brand. But yeah, women's piece sold for 120. Let's go over to a men's piece right here that sold for 140 bucks. A little bit worse of a listing right here, even photo wise. That cover photo is a little blurry and it's still sold for $140. Even the listing itself doesn't really have too many keywords in it. It's just basically the brand and exactly what the jacket is. And even with that little bit of details in the title, this thing still sold for 140. There is your tag photo up close. Again, Dragonware tag. Scroll through really quick. They just took up close-ups. Again, really, really blurry photos. And still this thing sold for $140. So next time you're out thrifting, if you're lucky enough to come across this brand, pick it up. It will go for great money. And let's get on to number 5, the very last jacket item that you should be on the lookout for when you're out thrifting. All right, so jacket brand number 5 is one of my personal favorites. Basically, anytime I find this brand, I usually pick it up. I found it quite a few times. The market is kind of going downwards on this brand, so maybe in a few years, if you're watching this video, maybe you don't pick up Howler Bros, but right now you definitely pick up this brand. We're gonna scroll through again some of the listed prices. You can see it's kind of all over the place. It just depends on what piece you have, exactly what the style is. That's what's going to determine the price that you're going to be able to get for these specific jackets. Now, there are 140 currently listed in pre-owned condition. We're going to go down to solds. And as you can see, there are 221 sold, which means this has over 100% sell-through rate. Again, you should expect to sell this in quicker than 90 days as long as you price it at market. Sometimes they even price these a little bit above market because of how fast these sell. You should be able to get a premium for this brand. Let's scroll through some of these solds really quick. See, they sell jackets, they sell vests, basically everything sells. Even just basic pullovers like this, $30. You have one for $35. You have a $55 sale, $175 sale, $56 sale, even on bids. And usually when you list a brand like this, you don't want to put it on auction because you're not going to get full price for this. This one still sold for 56 bucks. And a vest with a Yeti logo on the front sold for 150. This looks like a collab. Now let's go over to some of these sales. This is a men's brand specifically, so you're basically going to be looking for men's pieces when it comes to this brand. Again, I picked out an auction listing to go over this. You're not going to want to do this brand on auction. You're not going to get full price, but this person did theirs on auction. It still sold for 63 bucks. Pretty good photos with this one. That is the logo you're looking for, Howler Bros. Some people type in Howler Brothers like this person did in their title. Either way, it'll pop up when you search it. Heed the Call is like their slogan. It'll be on most of their pieces. And as you can see, this jacket is in pretty excellent condition. I don't see any flaws with it. Sold for $63 on auction. Let's go to another one that sold for $100. This one is a more heavyweight style jacket with that Sherpa collar on the very top. And then it has that liner that goes all the way through. Just a really quality made jacket. This one also is corduroy as well. It's got that Howler Bros logo and then the Howler Bros interior logo with the heed the call slogan on the inside. Just a really, really good jacket. Obviously, different jackets are going to sell for more money depending on what they are. And this is their actual logo right there. It's just like a monkey logo. So really, really good jacket brand to be on the lookout for. Definitely look for this logo when you're out there sourcing. They also make shirts. They also make pants. So pick up those usually as well. Just make sure you're looking up sold comps. But the jackets are the ones that are going to sell for the most amount of money. So that's it. I hope you guys learned something new on this video. If you could, again, drop a like on this video. It does help the video get out to more people. And then leave in the comment section, what's the next specific niche within clothing that you would like me to go over? Is it shoes? Is it polos? Is it women's dresses? Leave it down in the comments, and I'm going to choose one of those to go over in the next BOLO video. Thank you guys for hanging out, and I'll see you on the next one.